Well, welcome back to 42nd Street Pete's Grindhouse. A lot of interesting stuff going on, but I gotta put something over here. I don't have these back in stock yet. Two-Fisted Tales of Times Square. I sold out the first 50 in less than 24 hours. I have more coming in. Supposedly the arrival date is September 5th. But let me read you what the review a friend of mine who bought the book, Rocky, wrote. Just finished 4 two-piece collection, Two-Fisted Tales of Times Square, and give it an enthusiastic thumbs up. These stories have a lot of Hubert Shelby Jr. in them, as the human flotsam of the 70s and 80s are alive and well. You have neighborhood knockabouts who are stand-up guys, a mafia fixer who is really good at his job, a veteran managing a porn shop that's part superhero and part war casualty, sex workers who ply their trade and the evil that preys upon them, and the business of trying to earn an honest dollar. These stories are unvarnished. They closely resemble the films in common with the time, with gritty settings painted with graphic violence. You'll enjoy the Easter eggs, the historical and cinematic, and have fun sussing them out. I'll single out one story from the mix as I don't miss. Check out The Acquisition. It's one of those pieces that's full of Easter eggs and also searing and unforgettable. Now, that's a cool review. Like I said, I should have these back in stock. Well, they're saying September 5th, but who the fuck knows? I'm proud of what I did. People seem to really like what happened here. I'm hoping I get some more feedback on it, but that's the first cool review I've gotten, and it's the only review I've gotten. But enough of that. Let's go back to 1957. A film was shot called Bayou, down in Louisiana, actually in the bayous. It was released by United Artists and didn't do shit. It was picked up by a southern exploiter with the initials M.A Ripps. Mike Ripps, as he was known as, his real name was M.A Ripps. What he did was, he took Bayou, took the title off it, retitled it Poor White Trash, had someone singing the Poor White Trash jingle, for lack of better words, before the opener, and then padded it with some tawdry and creepy sex scenes. Now, here's the thing. I wrote the tagline down is, somewhere a 15-year-old girl may be a teenager, but in the Cajun country, she's a woman full grown and every Bayou man knows it. Okay, so right away we're hinting at underage sex, which of course is bullshit with this thing. They wouldn't do that. But the girl Marie is played by Lita Milan, who looks really hot. And another guy comes down there from New York City as an architect, a guy named Martin, played by Peter Graves. And Douglas Fowley plays Marie's father. And Tim Carey, a.k.a. Timothy Carey, plays Cajun guy Ulysses, who's hot for Marie. And being that her father is an alcoholic and runs a tab at Ulysses' store, that seems to give Ulysses, priority over anybody else catching up with Marie. So it opens up where Martin goes by her boat and she's out there crabbing and splashes her, and she comes back with a really shitload of crabs. And then her father tells her that, unless she goes out with Ulysses, he's going to lose his tab at the store. And she goes, how much is your tab? He goes, $20. She goes, I'll sell my crabs and pay it off. I'm not going out with this guy. I'm not going to the carnival with this guy. Well, anyway, Ulysses shows up at her house, shit-faced drunk, and proceeds to chase her through the swamp. And the dress comes off, and the bra comes off. Now she's climbing through all this stuff, and I'm not sure. See, there's very little on the bayou out there, as far as seeing that print as opposed to Poor White Trash. So I'm figuring this is the shit that Ripps shot. I don't think it was her running from behind, and this chick got naked and is crawling through the mud, and then Ulysses stands over her and rips her panties off, and we fade to black, and we all know what happened. So anyway, Martin is supposed to be this architect, but he has to prove his worth to the rednecks down in Louisiana. So he's put into this boat race or something. They paddle, whatever these stupid things are, kayaks or something. But in the meantime, he's in a bar, and Marie comes in, and he notices some little bar tramp clips her fucking money. She thinks it's him, so he takes her through the crowd until they find this woman and get her money back. So, of course, Ulysses is told this thing that she's hanging out with a Yankee, and which irks him. So he's in this race, and he winds up cutting Martin off, making Martin lose the race, and then his prospective employers tell him, we don't think you tried hard enough. But now he's enamored with Marie, and so is Ulysses. So we have this weird, little thing here going on. And her father is like not down with her going out with a Yankee and things. And Ulysses tries to goad Martin into a fight, but Martin's a pacifist. Martin doesn't believe in violence. Well, you're in the South, pal. You better start swinging. Well, anyway, this goes on. And what happens is that there's a hurricane, and Herb's trying to get home through the storm, and basically he's killed by a falling tree. Well, at the funeral, Ulysses decides to claim the woman for his own, being that she needs a man to protect her. Well, he challenges Martin to a fight. Before Martin can get his jacket off, he's laying in the dirt. Ulysses is standing over him. Martin gets up and proves that he's no slouch, throwing some fucking karate shots at him and knocking him down in the dirt. Ulysses comes up with a small axe, which is knocked out of his hand and thrown on the ground. He continues it, and he's slammed on the ground, and his followers just look at him disgusted and walk away. Martin proposes to Marie, and they're going to start a new life together, God only knows where. Ulysses is like on the ground trying to pull himself over, and as he rolls over, the axe is embedded in his back. Now we go back to the little jingly shit, and the end comes up with a script type font, which makes me believe that Bayou was a script type font that Ripps just took off and stuck that on there. The real star of the show, not that Lita Milan isn't bad to look at, because she is, and she also has about 30-something other acting credits, but Timothy Carey is out of his fucking mind, and maybe he was legitimately insane. He's got the whole Cajun thing down pat, but there's this one scene where basically this really old guy marries this really younger woman. Hey, it's the South, and don't forget, Marie's supposed to be 15. And the whole town shows up at the honeymoon night, and there's some cookout and shit, and then there's some dance. Well, Marie does this seductive dance, but she sees that Martin is, watching from the back part of the crowd, so she goes to join him. In the meantime, Ulysses gets up there and does this semi-orgasmic dance where he looks like he's basically in the throes of an orgasm, but then he sees Martin with her, and that, segues into more shit. It's a weird film. This guy Ripps catered to the Southern audiences for whatever reason. He's the guy who actually released Flesh Eaters down there and shot the concentration camp footage that he edited into the movie to make it more, quote, marketable to Southern drive-in audiences. Go figure. The only other credit I could find was that he produced Macumba Love, directed by Douglas Foley, and it starred Playboy playmate June Wilkerson. It's some kind of weird voodoo strange thing with a lot of snakes and shit, and it was on Channel 9 a lot back in the early 60s, or mid-60s rather, because it was shot, I think, in 63. So it was on, believe Supernatural Theater a lot. Ripps is a man of mystery. I only found out that his first name was Meyer yesterday by putting it over on Facebook. And somebody came up with, graduated NYU or something like that, and basically he's a man of mystery. Gary Kent told me a story that him and a buddy were in Ripps's office one time and opened the bottom drawer when he wasn't there, and there was a pound of weed there, so they took a few buds out for themselves. Yeah, it's strange. He's also the guy who basically, when Night of the Living Dead was originally called Night of the Flesh Eaters, he filed an injunction so they couldn't use that title. I had a funny feeling that was why they didn't call it Night of the Flesh Eaters, but I don't even know if Mr. Ripps is with us or not anymore. There's very, very little information about him out there. And I went on IMDb, I went on Wikipedia, and one of the guys in the Grindhouse Purgatory group, found out something. He's going to look for more, but, if he finds it, he finds it. I don't know. I've exhausted any possibility I have about, finding this guy. Timothy Carey, I got to go in depth on this guy because Carey, I don't know. Like I said, he might have been legitimately nuts. I mean, he was offered roles in both Godfather films, turned them down. He was cast in Francis Ford Coppola's The Conversation, but never showed up to work. John Cassavetes used him and said he was a genius. He wrote, produced, and directed this film that I will go into, later on, called World's Greatest Sinner. He's been in a bunch of stuff. I mean, he was the guy who, in The Wild One, threw the water in Marlon Brando's face without letting him know he was going to do it. He was uncredited in that. He was one of Lee Marvin's guys in the gang. He was in The Killing. He was Nicky Arcane, the guy who was hired to shoot the racetrack, and might have been the first guy to call somebody the N-word in a major film. Of course, he paid for that with his life later on. He was also in Paths of Glory, where he faked his own kidnapping, was supposedly fired from the film, but in the end scene where the 3 soldiers are executed, the other 2 soldiers are Joe Turkel and Ralph Meeker, he's mumbling and crying and doing things incoherently that were ad-libbed, but they left it in because it looked good. He did a bunch of other stuff, but like I say, we may get deeper involved in him later on. This is the end of August almost. What, 20 days, I'll be 70 years old. Don't know how to take that. It's strange when you get to this point in life, and I never actually thought I'd get there, but you sort of wonder how much longer you got. And, my only concern is outliving my mother, who is unfortunately still bedridden and not doing too well, and making sure that nothing happens to my 2 dogs. One that, unfortunately, I hate to say this, needs some masses removed from her, which is going to cost me about $2,500. So it's not good, and I'm trying to figure out, I'm going to come up with the money because now I got car problems. I do a lot of stuff, I put a lot of stuff out, but, the bottom line is, at this level of life, you don't make a hell of a lot of money doing this stuff, and the only reason I, did the self-publishing thing and, or doing what I'm doing now with, from my hand to your hand is tired of getting fucked by Amazon, tired of getting fucked by middlemen, and at least I have some kind of control over this thing. It may not reach the audience that Amazon did, but you know something? I'd rather have 100 loyal fans, 200 loyal fans than 10,000 idiots on Amazon that really just, they buy the damn thing, they don't say anything about it, and it's just weird. I mean, we're doing our best here, we're going to keep it going. One thing doesn't affect the other, fortunately. I can separate that type of thing, but still, shit has to be done, and I just put off the surgery till the first week in October because, honestly, it's going to be a 24-hour care thing, 5 different incisions on 5 different parts of her body. She's probably going to have a cone on. She's probably going to be trying to pick at it, and I got to avoid that whole thing. I mean, I did it with the other dog, and the minute I took she had something in her forehead, a lump that had to be taken off, and the minute that I took the damn cone off to get her to eat, can't turn your back for a minute, she headbutted the couch and split it open, so back to the vet again. So, trying to avoid that. It's rough, that's what you got to look forward to on your 70th birthday, that, 2 weeks after that, you're going to be taking care of the dog for 2 weeks, but something? My responsibility, they didn't ask to be here, I brought them here, they're good companions, and a word to anybody who wants to go out and just randomly adopt a dog, don't. Think it over, boys and girls, because just on my older dog, I'm probably in over $20-something thousand in vet bills. So it's not a thing I take lightly, it's a responsibility I take seriously, and I will go without before I'll let them go without. That's just the way it is. So, all right, let me wrap this up. I will let everybody know when this book is back in stock. Grindhouse Resurrection is in stock. We still have that, and other things are happening. A lot of things are percolating in the pot. So until next time, thanks for subscribing, thanks for tuning in, thanks for telling your friends, and we'll catch you on the flip side.